Good morning, beloveds. I'm having the debate on whether or not I remember to take my first dose of the medication. And I don't know. I take a prescription called Sevamaline, and it's a Sjogren's medication, which stimulates the salivary glands. It also helps with the dry eyes. I've been on vacation, and I haven't been real consistent with taking my sea buckthorn, so my eyes are dry, which may be why my mouth is dry, or maybe I missed my medication, and I honestly don't know. And I'm not uncomfortable enough to be willing to take another dose on the off chance that I've already taken it. So I'm just going to wait. I take it 3 times a day. So around 3 o'clock, I'll take another dose because I don't know. It's weird. All right. It's one of those, I was running on automatic this morning, so I don't remember if I took it or not. Oh, well. All right. So that is the situation. We are doing a new design for living. Let's do the housekeeping. And the housekeeping is simply me reminding you we are Creative Life Spiritual Center. Website is creativelife.org. Constant contact email, info@creativelife.org. You email that, you get on the mailing list. You get 1 email a week, unless something unusual happens, which because we live in the Gulf Coast is usually weather related. Like the high is going to be 83. Tomorrow, the high is going to be 50. Yeah. So Tuesday, the low is going to be 34. I'm just like, so we're going to break a heat record today and then, be in the 30s for New Year's. So I don't know. And then back by the time we get to Friday again, we'll be back in the 70s, which is normal for us. The 60s and 70s is normal for this time of year. So, yeah. So that would be the only reason you would get more than 1 email a week. Tells you what's going on for the week and the month. The hot links are hot, so click here now means it. And it is a blind CC, which means nobody will see your email. You won't end up on anybody else's email because of us. So hopefully you will think that that's worth it. And I'll mention the social media because I'm doing this on social media, but we don't monetize the social media. We don't want to deal with the ads any more than you do, so we choose not to monetize it. So what we ask you to do instead is to engage with the posts. Go like, subscribe, follow, based on which platform you are on, and then engage with the individual post by commenting on the post, sharing the post, and reacting to the posts. That bumps us in the algorithms. More people see our stuff, which is the goal of social media, and it's a free and easy way you can support the center. So there is that. Okay, and so we're doing a new design for living. I thought it was appropriate since it's pretty close to the new year. And the forward was really incredible. So, I haven't gotten far enough into it to know what's going on. But as usual, he's going to give us the basics, which is good because, that's what January is the basics of science of mind. And I also haven't created the playlist for this, so I haven't looked the book up to see what they say about the book. But here we are. Chapter 1 is New Thought for Old, and we are going to do Everyday Wonders is the title of the particular section that we are going to do today. So, maybe I should get a drink of water. Hang on. All right. Everyday Wonders. Salt and sugar are very common in our everyday life. But have you ever looked at such crystals under a microscope or seen pictures of them? They are wonders of symmetry. Minerals and gems, yes, even the diamond, also show such crystalline structure. Do you remember ever eating rock candy? Have you ever made some by hanging a string in a jar in which a quantity of sugar has been dissolved? It is fascinating to see the crystals start to grow on the string and get larger and larger, building up layer after layer until they get quite large. Honestly, I've never done that, and now I kind of want to. Okay, that's interesting. Snow is a wonderful sight. But there is more beauty to a snowflake than you probably have yet realized. Catch a large flake on the sleeve of your coat and examine it with a magnifying glass, being careful not to breathe on it, for it melts easily. It is a thing of unparalleled beauty. But remember, you are looking at only one snowflake, and there are never two alike. Crystals again. Crystals that began as drops of moisture high in the sky. Some are very simple, others very complicated and ornate. Some snowflakes are even double-deckers. Regardless of their size, regardless of the degree of ornateness in the design, the basic design is always the same. The snowflake is fundamentally a six-pointed star. Have you ever seen a cross-section of the trunk of a giant sequoia tree, or a picture of it? Ring after ring of growth, one ring for each year, and there are thousands of them, each year's growth of cells neatly circling the previous year's growth. You can find the same thing in a branch of the tree in your own backyard. Pick a leaf from that tree. Look at the regular tracery of veins which supply the leaf with water and minerals. It is magnificent. And take a look at the bush beneath the tree. Is there a spider web in it? Is it neatly woven in a lacy design and strong, stronger than structural steel? Some of the threads are sticky to trap insects. Others are slick, providing pathways for the spider. I didn't know that. That's interesting. Perhaps you have stirred up a grasshopper who bounded off with one long jump. He can jump a long way, but think about that jump. Proportionally, the most powerful jump among all living things. A terrific amount of power and a use of leverage that is fantastic. Honestly, I've never thought about that. Because, we talk about Superman leaping a tall building, and grasshoppers leap much higher than that. No doubt, many times you have gathered pretty shells on the beach or along a stream bed. Very pretty shells. But did you examine them? Masterpieces of engineering, internal patterns of curvature and progressive growth that require complicated mathematics to describe. A structure of rigidity and strength far surpassing humanity's engineering skills. Do you like honey? Honey that you get in a comb tastes good. But did you ever really take a good look at a honeycomb? All the cells are hexagonal, the perfect shape for strength and conservation of space. You've all seen pictures of the human skeleton, or seen an actual skeleton in a museum. Perhaps you were not the least bit interested, and that is not true because I loved physical anthropology. Oh my gosh, I loved physical anthropology. I love going to look at bone structures. I love going to look at skeletons. I love that my first job was conserving grave goods and skeletons. Like, when you look at the human body, like Body Worlds was disturbing, but also fascinating. Because the human body, oh my goodness, and the fact that, like, we have that one little part where there's a spine, the little part of the spine where the rib cage ends, and I always wondered about that because structurally that does not make sense. We've got this one little column of bone between the pelvis and the rib cage, and I'm just like, which is probably why there's a whole lot of muscle there. So, but yeah, skeletons are fascinating. And the fact that they're, where you look, our skeletons are similar between bipeds and quadrupeds. They're just the way that they've been changed to go from between 2 legs and 4 legs. And then God bless, have you ever seen a penguin skeleton and a whale skeleton? Like, skeletons are fascinating. I think it's up in New York called the Bone Museum. I would love to go to the Bone Museum. Okay, that is completely off topic, but that's what he's talking about. That everyday wonder. Like, we are surrounded all the time by this wonder, of mathematics and concern, and we just take it in and don't even notice. Okay, I'm going to get back to this. Hang on. Where was I? Okay. You've all seen pictures of the human skeleton or seen an actual skeleton in a museum. Perhaps you were not the least bit interested. Next time, look more carefully. Superb. Perfect adaptation of structure to purpose. Light in weight, nothing superfluous, mobility of joints, the bones themselves, hard cased on the outside with an elaborate, harmonious network of delicate but strong, bony material inside. And that, like, the way you can tell the difference between a human bone and an animal bone is exactly that. Because the inside of the human bone is spongy versus animal bones tend to be pretty solid all the way through. It's just, yeah. It really is. I'm a little fascinated by skeletons, which is why my undergraduate degree is in archaeology. So perhaps you have at some time had an electrocardiogram taken. Oh yeah, that was fascinating. On the strip of paper that passes through the recording machine have traced wavy lines indicating the rhythm of your heart. On a long recording, the tracery is a beautiful repetitive pattern with all the peaks and valleys harmoniously spaced and appearing at regular intervals. Feel your pulse. It is consistent and harmonious. How many times do you breathe a moment? Watch someone else breathe. Notice the regularity of the rise and fall of the chest. And notice, also just the absolute, like, you breathe without noticing. And then when you notice that you're breathing, it's weird. And then then after a short period of time, you forget, and the good news is that you can forget you're breathing and you continue to breathe. You can forget that your heart beats because, you can affect your breath, but it's really hard to affect your heartbeat unless you exercise or something like that. Like if you're just sitting there, it's fascinating. It's fascinating. It's just fascinating. All right. I'm kind of thinking I'm going to go ahead and do the next section, a new outlook, and then stop there, and then we'll just finish the rest of this tomorrow because there are 3 little sections, and then we'll be done with the chapter. So I'm going to go ahead and do a new outlook. What is it we are trying to discover? Are we trying to find what we might have previously overlooked in ordinary everyday things? It would appear that there is much more to learn than meets the eye, although the eye can give us clues and hints about the things that we are seeking. Why did the drop of water which became a snowflake develop into a 6-pointed structure? Before the drop became a snowflake, something determined the basic shape that would develop. Something determined that the 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 of oxygen, which comprise water, would, when in a suitable atmospheric situation, become a flake with a definite crystalline structure. Well, hello, Chico. Water crystallized as a snowflake or ice or any crystal in nature provides the physicist with nothing but atoms from which it was built. But when certain atoms are brought together in a regular and orderly manner, a crystal with a definite geological form must result. We know that a fertilized chicken egg will produce a baby chick. We know that 2 tiny cells comprised of atoms, which are joined together within it, will grow into thousands of cells. And in the process of growing, some will become bone, others flesh, and others feather. What is that something back of both the crystal and the chick that takes the atoms and arranges them, joins them together, adding more and more, and finally assembles them into the end result? Does that something reside within the atom itself? At which point there are people who would say, yes, consciousness goes all the way down. In this concretion of pure energy, comprised of a nucleus surrounded by orbiting electrons, is it here that all the intelligence, purpose, and essence of form that are found in the physical world reside? We don't know, but it does not seem logical or possible. Even if the atom does contain within itself the source and the pattern of all physical things, how did such a power get in the atom? Rather, it would appear the physical world did not develop of its own accord or out of the action of electrical charges, but instead there is an organizing factor that uses atoms to construct things. What would have to be the nature of it? And I think that's a good question to end on. How did such a power get into the atom? And when I said consciousness goes all the way down, I do mean that, and I do believe that, but I also believe in the organizing principle of the power back of, that there is something that does, if nothing else, guide. So, yes, I believe consciousness goes all the way down, but I also think consciousness goes all the way up. So there is an organizing principle. And fortunately, I also don't believe that there's a personality to the organizing principle, which is why we call it a patterning intelligence. So we've had enough of the personalities of gods, and it has gotten us exactly where it's gotten us. So, all right. Yep. This has been really interesting so far. And I'm having an interesting morning. So I'm going to go deal with this, and I'm going to leave you to contemplate the everyday wonders. And yeah. It's fascinating to look around the world. If you've never looked at sand under a microscope, I highly suggest you Google it. Because what we see and what sand is amazing. It's like snowflakes. One of my favorite pictures that I took while I was in ministerial school was, we were working on, I think, windshield wipers actually, and it was snowing in Denver, and Anna was wearing a blue puffy vest, and the snowflakes, they were big enough that you could see them. And so I took a couple of up close pictures of the snowflakes on Anna's puffy vest. Yeah. So, and they were beautiful. They were beautiful. It's definitely one of those. I do enjoy getting caught up in the everyday wonders. So, all right, beloveds, I'm going to encourage you to have a great day, wondrous day, fantastic day, magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day, a take care of business day, a you got this day, a let's get ready to have a weird week day, a New Year's is coming day, a I don't believe in New Year's resolutions day, so don't worry, I'm not going to ask you about those day, a go be with your community day, a cuddle your fur babies day, a enjoy the weather such that it is day, a you got this day, take a break day, and eat something amazing day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, because it's the holiday season and I get it, sometimes it is, simply have a day. You are enough, just as you are. You are a beloved expression of the divine. You are spirit in motion, God in action, a brilliant light, a divine spark, a beautiful masterpiece, and a work in progress at the same time, at your own pace, My favorite part of that sentence. And as Reverend Jesse likes to call us, you are a godling. All right. So explore the truth of your being. Get to know who the divine knows you to be, because the divine knows you to be good. And from there, anything is possible. Anything at all is possible. All right, beloveds, moving on. Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I'll be back with you around 9-ish tomorrow. Because I do go back to work today after having 5 days off. And we will also have an amazing service for you right here on Facebook Live. I realized that in my rush to download pictures, I deleted all of the title cards off my phone. So I need to deal with that. Okay. So, take care of yourself. Know that you are loved. I'll see you next time, which will be in the 11 o'clock hour. So, if you're watching this and it's after 11, roll up one video.